Hello there, I just want to demonstrate how CSS Grid layouts can be used to re-layout your page more gracefully. So here we can see I've got my nav bar, which is in red, my content or body in gray, and my footer in yellow, just to demonstrate the positions. Now, if I resize the page, it's always centered, and then eventually the nav bar moves to the top, the content remains there. I still have this nice centered amount, and the content is still 1,000 pixels, so if whatever you have inside here can be built against that. And then eventually we move this mobile, so there's no paddings on the left and right, and everything is 100% width and gracefully resizes. So the main thing we're getting across here is that if you get a wide enough screen, we can just move the nav bar from the top to the left like that. All right, so looking at the HTML, we have our grid, and the nav bar, the content, and the footer. Now, it's all semantic again. I think that's the right word. All the layout is happening on the CSS side. To demonstrate that, I'm just going to move the footer here. So, without the CSS Grid layout, that would cause the footer to be above the content, but that doesn't apply here. Just to demonstrate that, I'll also change the text. And you can see it's the footer still down there, but it still says hello world. It says hello world because I changed it. So this is my footer. And I'll just move that back. Alright, cool. So HTML is just the content, and the layout is handled by the CSS. You can ignore that. That's just resetting the body. I've created the classes for navbar, content, footer. Just to show the yellow, gray, red. Yep. And the key thing is the grid layout with my media queries. So we always build from the mobile layout first. So on mobile layout, we just have a very simple structure of one column with everything on top of each other. And using grid template areas, I can name the parts of the page, which is brilliant. It saves a lot of confusion later. So that when you got like this tablet size, you can just be like, you can use a punctuation mark to delimitate, like just fill empty areas here. So then we'll have just margins on the left and right, and the navbar, content, footer here. So and then our middle area is 1,000 pixels fixed. So margin, content, margin. So it's like a page layout, as you see here on the right. And then if you get even wider, only on desktops pretty much, you can move to this layout where the navbar is on the same row as the content, which is here, but the footer still spreads across the two. We haven't divided the footer in two, it will just wrap that. In fact, let's just put this here so you can see that. So there's no gap here or anything, even though, so you might get confused about this footer labeled twice. No, it just takes up 2 grid cells. So that's that. Key thing that I learned here is these names for grid template areas need to relate to the grid area name you put in here. You can't just, it's not the class name necessarily. I named the two to be equal to save confusion. But if this was hello, this would need to be hello. And then this will, yeah, sorry, that didn't work because of my media queries. Now it works, right? So I'd have to do that every time. So navbar here, hello, hello. So now it would work. See? So those need to match, not, this isn't the name of the class. And the other thing to remember is you mustn't, so this is, I'll leave that as, you don't wrap these in quotes. So if I do that, it breaks the page. So don't wrap in quotes. All right, cool. Hope that was useful.